Okay, we're here.
I'm here.
Yep. Hold on one second. Okay. So thank you so much for everyone who's joining me today to listen to Corinne Sosnoff's story. Amazing story, really, of healing. She's a client that I've been working with, and she successfully has completed the Inner Alignment Mastery Program. And she came to me after battling with 20 years of digestive issues that resulted in chronic abdominal distension, severe pain, bloating. It was really so debilitating that it seriously impacted her social life, her family life. She was always concerned about what she could eat, and she often could literally not fit into clothes that she wore from one day to the next day. She's been diagnosed with celiac disease, diverticulitis, and she was extremely frustrated and at a loss by the time that we started to work with each other. So I really wanted to share her story with you because I have been extremely impressed with her perseverance and her resilience and her commitment, as well as her strong desire to really heal and take control over her life. She followed the program that I outlined her to an absolute to the letter, which was amazing. I'm extremely impressed with her perseverance. But when you are in pain, that pain can be extremely motivating, and you just want to get out of it. And you're really ready to embrace the change, and you really get the courage to just do it. And she definitely was extremely courageous and strong. So throughout her process, we uncovered areas that needed physical healing and emotional healing, and she did all of that work, which is great. So I wanted to share her story with you, and so we'll just begin. So can you tell us a little bit about when your digestive issues began?
Yeah, I can remember like it was yesterday. It was 28 years ago. I had my daughter. And about 6 months after having my daughter, I started having stomach issues, and I thought it was from pregnancy, but they just kept going and going. And I was told several times, oh, you might have a sensitivity to gluten, but in my early 30s, when they told me, you can't drink beer and you can't have bread and your whole life would have to change, who wanted to hear that?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to hear it. I'm just like, if they told me I had it, then that would be a different story. But when you tell me I might have, sensitivity to gluten, and back then, celiac really wasn't a real issue. No one really knew about it. And I go to all these holistic doctors, and I went to this great doctor, but he was kind of like, gray in how he explained things, and I'm very black and white. So that's exactly when it started. It started a good 28 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it started just right after your pregnancy with your oldest child, your daughter?
Yeah, my daughter, about 6 months after that. I mean, I noticed that, I noticed some stuff before that, but that's really when it got worse.
Okay. So over time, over the 28 years, how had your digestive issues started to impact the quality of your life? Like what started to progress and happen?
It affected my life in every single way. It affected my moods. It affected my relationship with my husband, it affected the relationship with my children, and it affected my relationship with friends because I was frustrated. I was miserable. I tried everything and I just felt defeated every single time. And it gets to the point, where I didn't want to do anything. And then it was like, oh, we can't go out to this restaurant with Mom because she can't eat this. Or my husband and I would want to go do something. And I'm like, well, I'm not really having a good stomach day, or I can't get into the outfit that I bought. And you just don't feel good about yourself. It's a certain way you can't learn to love yourself. anymore. And so it impacted me, to the point where sometimes I just didn't want to go out. And it was also because I never knew from day to day how this would affect me. I didn't know, would I look like I'm 9 months pregnant today? Would I be thin today? I have a standing joke with my friends that on my tombstone, it will say, I hope I died on a thin day. Because I was always searching for those, when you're younger, you think, is this hormones? What's going on? And then you think, oh, this is just bloat because my monthly's coming up, and then you wait for that. So it affected me in like every aspect of my life. It really did.
Yeah. Okay. So by the time that we started to work together, what was like the state that you were in?
I was sort of at my last end. I'm a fighter, and I didn't want to give into this because I really believe that there was an answer to my issues. And, but I felt defeated. I felt like I was thrown in a battle with no ammunition, and everything was getting fired at me, and I had nothing to fire back. So when I came to you I was really probably at my worst end. I didn't want to go out. I would make excuses. Oh, I don't really feel good. Or I would disconnect from my friends so they wouldn't ask, let's get together and go out. So I was at my worst. I was really, really sad. I mean, I'd wake up days and I would cry and say, why? Why? And, it got to the point where I would never look at myself in the mirror.
Okay. Yeah, I remember your stomach getting extremely bloated.
Oh, when I came to see you, I'm a little bloated, and I held my hand on my shirt, and I remember your eyes were like this. And it looked like I was like, in my third trimester, 8 months pregnant. And, that was so depressing because, I tried to live in dresses, jeans didn't fit me. God, I don't know how people live in leggings because that was for me. But I was depressed. I'd go to bed crying at night, and I'd wake up crying, and I felt disgusted with myself. And it was, and I knew that there was something wrong with me because it wasn't like I was sitting around not exercising. I used to exercise 5 days a week. And when my stomach got like this, I wouldn't even want to go to the gym.
Right.
But, I didn't sit there and eat chocolate covered strawberries. I ate paleo. I eat organic. I did everything, take FODMAPs out, take sugar out. I would do everything. And everything was very short-term positive results, but then everything went back to where it was.
Right.
And I was told it's hormones, but I can't go on hormone replacement until I get my digestive system healed, but no one could tell me how to heal my digestive system. So it was like this snowball going down the mountain, and it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it wasn't giving me the answers that I needed. It was bigger and bigger with negative results.
Okay. So when we started to work with each other, one of the first things that we did in my programs, I kind of follow this overview protocol of first allowing the digestive system to rest through different fasting procedures that I create specific to each client, and then removing any possible digestive offender. So for you, we had you on a very, very strict elimination diet. And then the next step is doing these herbal antibiotics. And then we start to repopulate the gut with probiotics and prebiotics. And all that's kind of customized for each person. But how early did you start to notice the improvements in your digestive system through our work?
It was right away. It was right away. So I was like, oh, here goes another one. It's not going to last. And, I'd say in fairness, I think probably within the first week, by the end of the first week, I started to see improvement, and then more and more improvement each and every single time, and the biggest improvement was when I got on the scale, the numbers, they weren't going up for the first time. They were actually going down.
Yeah.
So, it really was within the first week, and I really did.
Okay. So you were on a very strict program, but was it difficult for you to follow, or what was the most difficult part of it for you?
I think that if I had to say there was a difficult part, was giving up my chocolate in the morning. I thought that I could wake up and have a piece of chocolate and be happy all day long. But if there was really a difficult part, it was probably the fasting,
Yeah.
So I always wanted to succeed. So I would tell as many people that I had to fast for these amount of days, because then I'd want that many more people to say, did you fast?
Right.
And I didn't want to be a loser and say no. So, but that was probably the hardest. But that's also because I was injured, so I couldn't get out and walk around, but I was going to do it because those 3 days worked for me the best. So if there was a difficult time, it was that. And I think that if I was able to get out and walk around and go do something, like I said, I was injured, I couldn't walk. It probably would have been easier. But when you're sitting around, you watch TV or something, and all they do is show you food, that's what made it hard. But if there was one difficult point, I'd say that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that, like part of like when you're going through a healing journey like this, when you become ill, when you become sick, one of the things, especially when it's related to your diet, like a lot of people don't really think about what they're eating. They go out somewhere, they order something to eat, and they just rely on their body to sort of function. But when you become ill, that just all gets blown right out of the water, right? So there was a process with you, and sort of having to relearn how to trust your body and trust your decisions around your food. Do you have anything that you want to share about that process for you?
I had gotten to the point where I didn't want to eat out anyway. And I was always going to restaurants that had gluten-free, so that was an issue. But yeah, it got to the point where, every time I would bloat if I didn't eat. So when I would follow these diets, and I followed this new diet, and I had the worst results just sipping on the tea that you were supposed to. So, I was a little skeptical in the beginning because nothing worked. And so I think that's the most amazing part, is now that I am slowly able to add things back. I mean, I'll never be able to have bread again, because that goes with the territory of having celiac disease. But now I'm starting to trust my digestive again, to say, okay, let me, really can't have raw but you know what, this tomato looks really great, let me have some. So I'm starting to actually trust my digestive system, that it will work properly for me, and that I don't have to fight every single step of the way to figure out what to make it or how to make it work right.
Yep. What would you say about like the meditation practices that we did too? Because we did like a physical, we included, a dietary program, a supplement program, but then we also did things with like meditation. What was helpful for you in that regard?
The things that were helpful for me were the one-on-one, when you and I would have one-on-one sessions, and we would do certain things that, we talked about and got that out. So that helped me, because I felt like I was really clearing myself. And then meditation, I used to meditate a real lot, and then, like anything else, you fall off the wagon and you don't do it. And so that was probably the hardest thing, is the resistance of changing my morning routine that I like. But I think when you start to meditate, you really align yourself and you really connect. I really believe in the universe. I believe in the power of that. And I think that you really connect, and that you're able to talk to this certain inner energy that you can't connect with unless you meditate. And that's where I ask for a lot of my health, a lot of my strength, to continue to do this. So, and then meditating, I feel like I'm a gerbil in that wheel, and I keep moving, and then every once in a while I kind of rock, and then I keep going again. So meditation kind of makes everything stand still for that amount of time. So it's relaxing.
Okay, great. Thank you. So when you first came to see me, one of the big things that you talked about was being able to go on this trip to Greece with your husband. And that was like a big mile marker. And you were just like, if I could just, maybe have like a glass of wine, or, if I could just, not be scared that I'm going to have like a reaction while I'm there, that's what I really, really, really want. So this became, kind of a big milestone for us when you were going on that trip. And when you left, you were nervous. I was also nervous, but trying not to be nervous. Right. And would you like to share anything about your experience and your eating and stuff like that?
Sure. And we were talking about nervousness because when I travel, the funny thing is I would have to pack what I call fat clothes and clothes that I bought for the trip, because I would never know how my stomach would be. And then normally if I would have wine, it would activate it and I would bloat. But so I was going away with Greece with my husband, and that was really my motivation through this several, because Greece, I knew I had to get in a bathing suit and I had beautiful clothes I wanted to wear, and I just wanted to feel good about myself. So going there was frightening, because I've had just bad experiences while traveling, and you're kind of out of your element and you eat a little bit more. But I went there, you and I, for weeks before I went there, I just kept visualizing what I would look like when I was there. And then I kept saying, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? So I kind of actually had a little bit more confidence that it was going to work. And then I think what really helped set me in a proper state of mind was when I did what you told me to do so I wouldn't have jet lag.
Okay.
It worked. Okay.
Yeah.
When everybody on the plane is eating and you have 10 hours to kill, you're like, no, I don't want anything, Yeah. And I got there, I didn't have any jet lag. And I went there with the first time in such a long time with a positive attitude that everything's going to be okay. And I went there with that. And, the first night there, my husband and I had some wine. I was bad. I had a bite of ice cream, woke up the next day and I'm like, oh, I'm not bloated. But the difference was that I went there and I did everything reasonably. Yeah. We had a bottle of wine, so that was 2 glasses of wine instead of 4 or 5. I took 1 or 2 bites of ice cream instead of, not the whole thing. And I really went the whole trip. I had one bad bloat day, but it was never bad to where I was when we started. So all in all, the whole trip to me was a huge success, and all the effort that I put in working with you to get there, I got rewarded. And I think that it was like I was that bird outside waiting for the crumb. I finally got that piece of crumb, and that crumb made me come back for more and more. So it just made me constantly in the back of my mind, keep doing what you're taught and everything will be okay. And I went that whole trip.
Wow. Yay.
Yeah. And I came back and I didn't gain as much weight as I did. And I implemented the things that I've learned from you, and I've lost all my weight plus another pound. So that I gained from the trip. My husband's still mad because he hasn't lost any of it. It was a big success. I mean, I was really, I was really happy through the whole thing. I felt good. I felt pretty, and I felt rewarded for the for my determination and the efforts that I put into it.
Yeah, you did. You worked so hard.
Yeah, so it was a good result. Really good result.
Yeah.
And the results are still good. Back home, it wasn't like, okay, I do what Monica told me, now I'm going back. It's in my mind. I fast once a week, and then I'll pick 3 days out of the month to just have soup or broth for lunch and dinner. I still, as much as I want that chocolate in the morning, I don't do it, so and I've lost all the weight I've gained plus a pound. So
that is so great.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions that I have to ask you. What are what are your favorite practices that you learned that you're doing now?
My favorite practices. I think what I do the most is I trust. I do that every day. I said, I trust, you know, like I kind of lost faith in that when I go, I trust to have like a nice room. We walk in, I go, okay, we're not staying in this room.
Yeah.
I think the trust isn't like a genie that you rob and say you get these nice things. But when you say into yourself, like, I trust I'll have the desire to continue this. It's a trust you have in yourself. It's not the trust that you get a nice room or your planes are on time or whatever. It's what you're capable of controlling.
That's great.
Yeah. And so that's what I love the most is the I trust, because the I trust is Corinne and Corinne alone. It's not, it's in my control. It's not control of somebody else that, you know, operates something or whatever. So that's what I enjoy the most is the I trust, because it gives me confidence and it builds that trust back in me that I had lost.
It's beautiful. All right. Well, I'm so happy. And thank you so much for your time.
Sure. I'm really glad.
Your story and sharing it.
Hey, listen, you know what? If I can help you back for all the help that you've given me, it's well worth it. So I'm glad I could pay back the favor.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for everybody who's watching. And I will click a link for a complimentary breakthrough session below the video if you'd like to schedule a session with me, and I can see if I can help you. And thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you, Corinne.
Bye.
Bye.